describing each one of their seasons using one word. It's gonna be pretty fun, so make sure you guys like the video. If you do like the video, comment down below maybe a word you would describe your favorite NBA team or just any random NBA team. And yeah, make sure you subscribe to the channel. See all the randomness I post. A lot of basketball, a lot of sports, a lot of random ASMR stuff. It's definitely a pretty wild ride, so make sure you guys come along with me. Almost at 10,000k, 10,000 subs, 100 subs away from 10k. That's crazy. So thank you guys so much for that. And yeah, let's get started. I can't believe I actually just said that. We're 100 subs away from 10,000 subscribers. That actually just kind of hit me while recording this video. Wow, that's crazy. Anyways, obviously going in alphabetical order, one word to describe every single NBA team, with the Atlanta Hawks up first for theirs. Their word is inconsistent. Oh man. Just throughout this video, I'm probably going to be saying if I agree or disagree with whatever this article is being written about, says about them. For this word, I will agree. I think for the Atlanta Hawks, definitely a team that I think definitely had the potential to be a very solid team in the NBA. I feel like they could have been, man, at their peak, maybe even a 3-4 seed, maybe battling for a 3 seed, especially with the hot finish they ended the last season on, also going all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals. I do feel like, though, it's been a lot up and down for the Atlanta Hawks. I think Trae Young has really only been the big bright side to this team so far. I mean, they even made that sort of big Cam Reddish trade that we were all sort of looking for them to bring in someone really big and important, and they traded away Cam Reddish for a first-round pick, which doesn't really help them in that sort of like winning area they're trying to be in. So I'm assuming they're just gonna be, kind of just throwing away this season, just seeing what happens. I think they will make the playoffs. I think right now they're in the 10th spot right now, so they'll be in the play-in. Now, will they get in the playoffs after the play-in? Don't ask me that question. They have the potential to, 100%, but man, that's a team that has definitely had a lot of ups and downs, and right now, yikes, hopefully next season they can get off to a better start. For the Boston Celtics, their word is ascending, which I will have to 100% agree with. Boston Celtics at one point in time looked like a team who were going to be, not even a play-in team. They're going to be a battling play-in seeded team, but as of right now, the Celtics are, basically tied for the 4 seed right now. I think they're like a game behind or a game and a half behind the Cleveland Cavaliers for that 4 seed, and that's pretty insane. So as long as they keep this up, this play with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, every once in a while it seems like, one of them was on, one of them was off. Now it seems like they're really trying to find a way for them to both be very, 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 very competitive, with both of them playing at the same time at a high level. And I don't know, maybe, they catch a couple of these really good teams off guard in a playoff series, and this team could maybe upset maybe a favorite. I don't know. I'm not going to say they are, but they have the potential to, especially with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. That's a crazy dynamic duo. So ascending, that's a word I will agree with. Definitely did not see this push coming from them at this season. I thought they would be, again, like a battling play-in seeded team somewhere around 8. They're all the way up battling for that 4 spot, which is crazy. For the Brooklyn Nets, their word is unknowable. That's kind of funny. I will agree. Obviously, because we haven't seen Ben Simmons play yet, which, God, I hope it's soon. I really want to see Ben Simmons play, even if it's a train wreck, or that saying, you can't look away from a car crash. It's kind of like that. I want to see, what happens if it's successful. If it does crash, I want to see it happen. Kind of a really bad thing to talk about, but you know what I mean. If it fails, I want to see it fail. I want to see how this trade went. Is Ben Simmons, actually up to the task of being on this? Obviously with the Sixers, they were a title contender, but now, you're with KD and Kyrie on this win-now-ready team, and man, you want to talk about having a lot of pressure in Philly. You got a lot of pressure now, especially in Brooklyn, New York, dude. That's a big, big, big pressure, but I feel like they'll get it done. I feel like they'll be okay. Their word being unknowable. Sure, the short-term word, I would say yes, but maybe for the entire season, if I could give a word for the entire season for the Nets, man, I don't even know. You can say crazy. You can say, if I could give it a phrase, it would be, didn't see that coming, because I did a team all the way down in the 8th seed right now with all these injuries, and then the trade of James Harden. Yikes, man, it's been a crazy season for them. Maybe I'll say that. I'll say crazy for the Charlotte Hornets. Their word is punctual. Punctual. I don't know about that. Why would they say that? They don't really give a description on why they say that. It says they are decidingly on schedule. They're not good. They're good, but not great. Okay, that actually makes kind of sense. That makes some sense, I guess. Punctual, maybe. I think they definitely, obviously, have evened out throughout the season, obviously being the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference at the start of the year, and then making their way down and down and down, and now they're all the way down to the 9th seed. I think they will make the play-in. I think actually right now, the 1 through 10 of the Eastern Conference is how the East is going to finish. So I think the 10 through 1 seed of the East is set. So I do think Charlotte is going to make it into the playoffs. Well, the play-ins, will they make it into the playoffs? I don't know. It depends on the matchup. I mean, if they go against Brooklyn, obviously that's a GG, but they can definitely beat a Toronto team or an Atlanta team. So that should be very interesting to see. So them making the playoffs is an upgrade from last season, and that's all you really need for the Charlotte Hornets. Their word punctual. I say yeah, they're right on track. They're right where they should be. They should be making the playoffs, and that's where we are. The Chicago Bulls. Their word is underpriced. Not sure about that. They talk about all the injuries that Chicago is going through right now, so I guess you could see that. I mean, of course, with Alonzo Ball out for a while, Alex Caruso was out for a while, losing Patrick Williams for the entire season, that was like the guy who was probably going to make the biggest leap into this upcoming year. That's what I felt at least, and didn't get to see him shine at all. Man, that's crazy. Chicago is a team that I'm rooting for. They're probably my most rooted for team right now, obviously with Portland sucking, and I'm really hoping that they can have a lot of fun, at least make some noise in the playoffs. I hope they can make it at least into the second round. I feel like if they can make it in the second round and then run into like a Bucks or a Sixers team and they lose, that's a 100% win on the season. I just don't think, again, injuries, and I think they're still like a piece or two away from really being true contenders. I think they can win with DeMar and Lonzo and Vucevic and the guys they have right now. I think they just need to add a couple more pieces. If I could describe their season in one word, it would be close. I would say close, because they're maybe a 6-man away from being a real true contender, and obviously health would also really benefit for them as well. Wow, that's a funny coincidence. The Cleveland Cavaliers word is close. I don't know about close. I don't think they're close. I think they're on sort of the same level as, a team that is sort of on the right track. Well, obviously they are, but like, I just hope that this isn't a Atlanta Hawks 2.0 type of story where this team goes on to a fiery start and then, next season it's back down to the play-ins for them, you know what I mean? And I'll knock on wood, I'm not saying that's going to happen to them. I just hope that's not what we're seeing from this team. Because I do think Garland is legit. I think Evan Mobley is legit. I think Jared Allen is a great player. I think this team can be very good next season and on and on and on for the future. Close being their word. I don't think they're close to being a title contender. I don't think they're close to even winning out the East in the next 3 years. I think they still have a lot of time to grow. So, their word, maybe potential. I think we're seeing the potential of this team. I think we're seeing potentials of each player on their team individually. So I think that's the word I'll give them, because individually, looking really good. They're still, you don't want to rush the process, I guess. That's what I'm trying to say. For the Dallas Mavericks, their word is unfinished. That is a great word for the Dallas Mavericks. That team is definitely unfinished. It's really just Luka Doncic just trying his best to win games with a bunch of solid players around him, and obviously that is good enough to even make a playoff spot, which is, obviously all praise to Luka Doncic for being Luka Doncic. He battled back against that Warrior game a couple days ago. Oh my God, that was a wild game from Luka Doncic, and right now they are sitting at the 5 spot right now, only a couple games behind the 4 seed, which is pretty crazy, again, with just, no offense to Dallas, basically just having Luka Doncic. I love watching the Mavericks play because of Luka Doncic, and I'll cross my fingers for all you Mavericks fans that man, if you just get a co-star for this guy, this team could really make some big noise. I mean, even with Kristaps Porzingis, this team looked like it could go maybe to the conference finals if, a is carrying this franchise to a 6th seed right now pretty comfortably. They could even make it to that 4th seed spot if a couple games go their way. I mean, Nikola Jokic 2 years ago is definitely not the same Nikola Jokic as we see today, and could definitely win MVP this year. And if Michael Porter Jr. comes back and he's, that same, 15 to 20, very high efficient shooter type of player, Jamal Murray comes back, he's still that 15 to 20 per game point guard, adds depth to the team. Oh my goodness. As of right now, with all the injuries, I can't say dangerous is a great word for them. They're above average. The Detroit Pistons, their word is hopeful. I'll agree with that. Cade Cunningham at the beginning of the year might have looked like somewhat of a bust, but definitely as the season is finishing out, he's looking like finally the player that he was, in college and supposed to be that sort of do-it-all type of point guard, and he's definitely looking really good. Even some of the other players, like Sadiq Bey, starting to really show out a lot more, and they're actually low-key like an exciting team to watch, which is kind of weird to say, but they are still a couple pieces away, and obviously yada yada yada. Seeing what happens with Jeremy Grant, maybe going to the Portland Trail Blazers, or somehow finding himself on the Milwaukee Bucks or somewhere crazy like that. I think that could be really cool to see, and whatever they can get in return. Hopeful. That is a very good word. Golden State Warriors' word is overanalyzed. Oh god, that is very true. Whenever any teams or networks talk about the Warriors, it's always very critical on Curry and Clay and the whole team and yada yada yada, because they are, probably still the number one team in the NBA, talking about, favorites and popularity and, yada yada yada. They're probably still the number one team, so they're gonna get overanalyzed. So I think that's actually not that bad of a word. One word I would actually give them would be patience. If I could describe their season, I would wish they would have more patience. I feel like they are trying to be that, we're the title favorites, we're this, we're that, we're still the big bad dog, yada yada yada. That's cool, but I hope they just, give it some time, give it some patience, wait till the playoffs, and then you really start showing out. I think as of right now, I think they're on the right track, but you don't want to go overboard with how you're trying to play right now, and then the playoffs start, and you peaked your best basketball too soon with the Houston Rockets. Their word is introspection. That's an interesting word, very, very philosophical, I would say. When looking at the Houston Rockets, they didn't really do a lot this season. They did develop a couple good players here and there, and obviously, Jalen Green looks like the scoring guard that we all know that he is, which is great, but I feel like this team would have unloaded more, gotten back more, shifted a little bit in a different direction. I feel like this team really just added Jalen Green and then just played a couple of random guys who turned out to be pretty decent NBA players who I don't even know that will make the team next season or in years to come. So, I don't know. That might be the phrase I would give this team. Maybe the word I would give them would be IDK. I really don't know what's going on with them. Jalen is good, but I think they still are trying to find that number one option guy. They're definitely bad enough to find that. Maybe it is with Jabari Smith Jr. I think that's his name, the college guy. Paolo Banchero, Chet Holmgren, one of these rookies in this upcoming draft who could really put this team in a really good direction. The Indiana Pacers, their word is rejuvenated. Yes, that's a great word. Again, Tyrese Halliburton, very fun player to watch, and I'm definitely excited to see where that team goes now with, Malcolm Brogdon, Miles Turner, if they flip those guys for some other really good assets, because I would like to see, obviously, Halliburton really run their show. Obviously with Malcolm Brogdon there is nice, but really want to see what, the potential of Halliburton can do, and seeing what you can get for Miles Turner. Probably can get some good draft picks out of that. Really shake it up, really hit that big red button. I get it. Sabonis is a really good sort of move, and then obviously with Karis LeVert, I want to see more. I want to see more things happening. I want to see youth being flown through this franchise and really seeing where they can go with this, because they do need a big rebuild, and I feel like it does start with Halliburton right now. Is that the cornerstone? Definitely not, but it's a very, very, very good piece, and rejuvenated, yes, 100%. Los Angeles Clippers, their word is resilient. Ooh, that's almost like a perfect word. Of course, without having Paul George or Kawhi Leonard the entire NBA season, basically Paul George, but how is this team still in playoff contention is beyond me. Big ups to Reggie Jackson, Nicholas Batum. This team is just so deep, and then you add in Norman Powell, which is so crazy, and Robert Covington. This team even next season, man, they might be the favorite to win the title next season, man, because not only do you have this team who is pretty solidly set in the 8th seed right now, going to be in shut down LeBron again for the rest of the year. Just and I guess let Russell Westbrook just run the show. Let him hopefully, raise his trade value by the end of the year, and then maybe he accepts his player option, and then you ship him out for a bunch of players. I think that's what you have to do. I don't think trying to salvage whatever this team is right now, it's not worth it. I think you sit LeBron the rest of the year. There's only 20 games left in the season. You let the Pelicans take over. You let them have their way, and you go on to next season. That's just my opinion. I know it's kind of LeBron taking another L on a season, but dude, this team is just, it's not it. It was very, very, very badly put together. It was a bunch of 35-year-old old guys who are just, just wait till the playoffs, Well, it looks like they won't even make the playoffs, so Memphis Grizzlies, their word is gravy. Okay, that's interesting, but not really sure what that's supposed to mean. I guess good, like everything's gravy, everything's good. I don't understand, but for me, it'd probably be overachieving. I think that's probably the best word. I think that's one word. I have no idea if that's what I would say is overachieving. I think they're doing good. Do I think this is where the Grizzlies will always be from here on out? No, I think this is definitely them. I don't want to say peaking, but definitely playing their best brand of basketball. And are they still pieces away to being true contenders? Yes. Can they make it far in the playoffs this year? Yes, just like how the Atlanta Hawks were last season. Do I think they can beat a, Sixers, Bucks, Nets team in the finals? No. Do I think they could even beat the Phoenix Suns or the Golden State Warriors in a very crucial, Game 7 type scenario with all these young guys? No. I think they can get far. I think they can upset some teams here and there, but I think this team is still young, and you don't want to put the heat on them too high because, metaphorically, they might get burnt. They might, crumble a little bit. So the Miami Heat, their word is formidable. That's very good. I would say underrated would also be one, or maybe even under the radar, underrated. I don't know. They're definitely a team that's flying pretty low under everyone, which is kind of crazy because guess what? They are the #1 team in the Eastern Conference, which is so crazy that, again, ESPN, NBA TV, I don't really hear about this team a lot because it's a team that's just led by, Jimmy Butler and a lot of solid NBA players, which is pretty crazy. I'm even more going to be excited to watch the team because this team it's a playoff built team. This is a team that's not, 9-10 guys deep like some of the other teams in the NBA that are really great for the regular season. This team is built for the playoffs. They are 7-8 men deep, going to be playing hard-nosed basketball, slow-down basketball. The Heat this year, they could even, conference finals, probably NBA championship, potential, close, but I'm not sure. But man, for the Milwaukee Bucks, their word is shallow. Yikes. I don't know about that. I know this is definitely the worst Milwaukee Bucks team in a little bit of years now, and I still think they have enough to repeat as champions for sure, but it's going to take a lot more, and they didn't really improve on from last season. They just sort of kept guys around, and some of the luck they had this year wasn't really going in their direction, so being shallow, I think that's kind of not a good one. If anything, I could say they're even, they're normal, they're the Milwaukee Bucks, and that's where they are. They didn't get any better, they didn't get really any worse, even though injuries really tells that a different tale, but I don't know, they're just the Milwaukee Bucks, and I don't think really any team is very scared to play them. I think any team, like again the Nets, the Sixers, maybe even the Heat, would want to face the Bucks, so man, we're really got to see what they're made of when it comes down to, the winning in the playoffs. For the Minnesota Timberwolves, their word is plucky. Whatever that means, I have no idea. Plucky. For me, I would give them healthy. That's the word I'll say. Knock on wood, not trying to jinx them, but this is definitely the healthiest this team has been, even though they have been through some injuries and stuff like that. This is definitely the healthiest this team has been in years, and finally showing like, oh hey NBA, this is what happens when our best players can stay healthy for a vast majority of the NBA season, and it looks very good. Again, they're a couple pieces away from being very formidable in the West for sure, but I mean, you can't tell me in another year or two with Anthony Edwards developing and D'Lo's still there and Cat even maybe developing a little bit more into his prime, this team with pieces around them can't make some type of noise. I think that's the big thing is still dog duty. It has Patrick Beverley, and Jaden McDaniels has been playing pretty okay, but they're still looking for like a wing player and probably a new guard as well, or maybe even another forward so he can move Anthony Edwards to his true position, the shooting guard position, yada yada yada. They're still ways away, but I think now we're seeing them at their health. We're seeing, the actual potential of this team. For the New Orleans Pelicans, their word is complicated. Yeah. That is true. I mean, they did do a big time trade for CeCe McCollum, not even really giving a whole lot away, just a first round pick, which, I mean, whatever, you already have one of the best up and coming stars in the NBA already with Brandon Ingram, and then also, you have Zion. I almost want to call him the almost face of the NBA, because he was the guy who was supposed to take over LeBron when LeBron retires, but even now, man, who knows what's going to happen with Zion, man. I mean, you're hearing stories all the time of, being the next Greg Oden to, him, wanting out already, which is so crazy, and, man, it is, actually, that is a perfect word for them, is complicated, man. For the New York Knicks, their word is aimless. Oh, God, that is actually a good word, too. I said it before, I'll say it again. I think the Knicks will not make the playoffs, and I'll say this again as well. You guys, well, not you guys, a little bit, maybe like a handful of people, when I was talking about the Knicks at the start of the year, got pretty mad at me for saying, the Knicks, they're not all what they are. Don't overestimate, overestimate them. Don't say they're going to be this type of team all the time, yada, yada, yada. And it looks like I was right. I think not to the degree I was talking about. I thought there'd be, a 7th, 8th, maybe at the very bottom, of a play-in seeded team. But man, I think right now, I think they're out of the playoff race. I think the Knicks won't make even the play-in, which is very sad to think, because RJ is having his best NBA season, really showing his true colors of what he is going to be in the future of the NBA, which is awesome. I think he's playing very great. Randall has had a lot of up and downs, but he's still, that solid player. Definitely can't be the star of your team, but he can be a good player, and they just can't close. They can't close games. They can't make smart plays, and Tom Thibodeau is just, I don't know what he's doing. I think that's definitely the first problem. It's just Tom Thibodeau is just, what a coach. What a coach. The Oklahoma City Thunder, their word is pending. Not bad. We really haven't seen the sort of true potential of the Thunder this entire year, because SGA was hurt for a while. Josh Giddey had some up and downs throughout the NBA year, and even some of the other players haven't really shown out the way they have before. So pending is good, because this team hasn't really played to its full potential yet, which, man, I think this team, if they were at that level the entire year, I think this team could even be a play-in seeded team this current NBA season, even if, Josh Giddey, SGA, some of the other guys like Paisley and Dort as well. I mean, this team is very solid with good young assets moving forward. Very exciting. Obviously, there's still a couple pieces away. I mean, if this team can draft, a big like Chet Holmgren and to be their future starting big, this team could be, in 5 years, probably maybe, the next sort of team in the NBA. Not saying winning a title in 5 years, but being that sort of next up and coming NBA franchise, which would be super crazy. And I think right now, pending, that's a good word, because we haven't really seen that potential yet. Orlando Magic's word is searching. 100% agree. The Magic, Jalen Suggs ain't that guy. Still trying to find that guy for this team. If they do get a top pick, and they do get, Jabari Smith Jr. or, Ben Chiro, someone like that, someone that can just finally have the guy for, and they don't have that. Obviously, Jonathan Isaac ain't the guy. Marco Fultz, Jalen Suggs, Cole Anthony, those guys aren't the guy. They're still trying to find the guy. Hopefully they find it in this upcoming NBA draft, or at least trading some of these players around and getting a guy on their team, some sort of a young sort of cornerstone they can start moving towards, because right now they're just a group of just solid NBA players, which definitely is not going to get you anywhere. The Philadelphia 76ers, their word is reinvigorated. Reinvigorated. I think I'm saying that right. I think so. Obviously, yes, definitely very excited, I'm sure. I mean, when they were playing the Knicks a couple days ago, as as I'm recording this video, man, Joel Embiid looked the happiest he's ever been on an NBA court, playing alongside Joel Embiid against the Knicks, playing alongside, James Harden, that is. And even Harden looks like he's out on fun. I mean, the basketball flows very well in that team. And I'm actually very excited about the play of Tyrese Maxey on the side of James Harden. He's looking like he can probably learn a lot from James Harden. And, man, if you can imagine Tyrese Maxey playing, a tenth of the percentage of a James Harden during his NBA career, I mean, he's going to be a great player one day as well, learning a lot from James Harden. This team is scary, and I know a lot of people are talking about, who won the trade. I do think the trade is very even, but I think as of today, man, the 76ers, I think they are the team to beat. I think if Harden can play to the level like they do as of, the recording of this video is, they might be the team to beat. Phoenix Suns' word is dominant. Ooh, that's a good one. Kind of tough now to say that because, of course, with Chris Paul being out probably until the playoffs, which is very sad. Dominant is an okay word. I don't want to say they're very dominant because they're not like a true number one title favorite. They are a title contending team for sure, but I don't think they're still even the number one favorite to win the title. So that's kind of tough to really say that. I'll say maybe superior. I'll say maybe even surprising because I thought the Suns were going to be good, but they were also a team kind of like the Bucks. Didn't really approve a whole lot. Just got a couple of gold role players here and there, but man, they've even upped their play from even last season, which is very impressive. So, man, the Phoenix Suns, I'm definitely excited to see what they can do in the playoffs as well. For the Portland Trail Blazers, their word is fluid. Interesting. Actually, it does kind of make sense because you can definitely see how the Blazers can really go in any direction they want. They can go into some sort of rebuild, trade Dame off or whatever, get, a top 5 pick with their draft pick, then with the Pelicans pick, maybe it's a number 8 pick. They have a 5 pick, an 8 pick with great young assets. They can really go through that rebuild, but they can also sort of fluid over to, contending with Dame, and maybe they do flip picks and some players here and there to get 1 or 2 really good guys to play alongside Dame. This new play style and defensive mindset, they can be at least a good, solid NBA team next season, and it's pretty fun to watch. I mean, obviously being a Blazer fan, definitely on the tank team. I'm definitely on Team Tank. Hopefully they can get at least a top 5 pick, and then hopefully that Pelicans pick to fall to 7 or 8. Maybe you trade both those picks for, someone crazy that we don't even see coming. Man, that could be absolutely insane. So fluid, good word, because man, they could, go all in or just start over. For the Kings, their word is confusing. Yes, that's all I gotta say. I don't know what the Kings are doing. This team should be way better than what they are. I mean, you have Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox, and just how are they still so garbage? I have no idea. Man, they might even trade. They might trade De'Aaron Fox by next season. That could be a bold statement, but if this team is still struggling this hard at the end or even the beginning of next season, I think De'Aaron Fox is gone, because there's no way with these two guys you're still a bottom 5 team in the NBA. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. For the San Antonio Spurs, their word is building. Yes, I think searching would also be a great one, because they are still searching for the number 1 option. DeJounte Murray, great breakout year for this kid, but still, I still believe can't be the number 1 option. I think he's, again, a great piece. Definitely a guy you 1000% have to keep. But I still think they're looking for their next, Duncan, Kawhi, yada, yada, yada. They're still looking for their next cornerstone guy, and DeJounte Murray's a good piece, but I don't think he's that guy. Toronto Raptors, their word is underestimated. draft picks, no more this or that. I mean, maybe they could get some free agents there. I have no idea, but I think they would have. I would have liked to see them taking a little bit more time on this rebuild. For the Utah Jazz, their word is tense. That's a great one because this playoff year is the be-all, end-all for Utah. I feel if Utah is a first round out of this year's playoffs, Donovan Mitchell, in my opinion, I don't think he's gone. He's definitely going to start, putting his ears out, looking at other teams. He's gonna have a question mark over his head from their point on. So this year's playoffs, man, it's gonna be very tense on the Utah Jazz. Because I think even everyone in that organization knows that this year is very important to them. For the Washington Wizards, their words is experimental. I guess that's a word you can say. This year was so weird for the Wizards without having Bradley Beal, and then them being so good. They were the #1 seed for a little bit of time. It was a very weird year for the Washington Wizards, and now kind of coming back down from their high, being that sort of kind of near the bottom feeders of the NBA East. Gonna be interesting to see what happens to Bradley Beal. I don't think he's gonna stay. I think he's gonna try to go to a different contending team. But even if that does happen, I really hope they try to do something with what they're going with now, because that team is just also a big question mark team. That team can go in so many different directions. I even have no idea. So experimental, that's a good word. But anyways, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you guys have a good rest of your day and night whenever you're watching this. Make sure to comment down below maybe a word for your favorite team or a different word for a different team. I think that could be pretty fun to see that.